I, 25 female, had a big argument a few weeks ago when I visited parents. Before I start, I should mention that I'm autistic, but I have a normal job, a fiancé, and a pretty normal life. That was a bit different as a kid because I had a few more difficulties with loud noises, groups of people, foods and stuff, and some social rules and interactions. But I almost never had major meltdowns in front of others. There were maybe 2 or 3 accidents, but which kid is perfect? So the whole incident started when I was at my parents' house, where my parents, 54 dad and 50 mom, and 2 of my siblings, 29 sister and 21 sister, live. My brother, 19, and I moved both out at 18, but visited often. We all sat at dinner and my brother started talking about how nice it was in Paris a few years ago, and that he misses those trips because of the global situation. I froze for a moment because I never had a family trip for the last 20 years, not even something like an amusement park or zoo visit, because my parents let me believe we had not enough money. The most fun I got was when I was for a few weekends, sometimes weeks, with my grandparents in another city. It hit me pretty hard, and I exactly knew the reason why I was there always alone. I asked my whole family if my assumption was true, and that they had family vacations without me and were still excluding me. After a long pause, my dad said yes, and I could hold my tears back. I felt so alone and went into the guest room to cry. After an hour of crying and thinking about all of that, I asked my parents why they did that, and my mom said she couldn't bear my meltdowns and could deal with at vacations and was so sorry I found out that way. My dad just sat there and the only thing he had to add was, "You need to understand that we wanted to feel like a normal family, at least on our vacations." At that moment I screamed at my parents that they should have given me up for adoption if they hated me so much. Until now I got a message from my mom that says, "That's exactly what I meant, you can't control yourself, and that I should stop ignoring her calls." Pretty nasty messages from my sisters, I don't want to repeat, the R slur is used, and a big apology from my brother who told me I missed over 50 big and small vacations, that he's sorry what happened and that he didn't tell me before. So my question is, am I the idiot for ignoring my family besides my brother? My mom didn't really apologize in my opinion. I just still feel sad and betrayed. Not the idiot. Dear Lord, this is ableist. We wanted to feel like a normal family. Excuse you for being born autistic. Info though, where were you when these vacations happened? 50 trips is a lot. I was at my grandparents' almost every second weekend, in a camp for autistics, basically ABA therapy all summer long, and hated it, and after I moved out they didn't have to worry. Not the idiot. Honestly, what kind of parents can do that to their child and shout out to your brother for apologizing, and they want to guilt you for something that they did? Yeah, I don't think so. You deserve a proper apology, and you wouldn't be wrong if you wanted to go no contact with them. I'm going to suggest to start calling your parents by their first name if you ever talk to them again, because they clearly don't deserve to be called Mom and Dad. Oh my God, all of the lying. Making OP's siblings lie. Making OP's grandparents lie. For decades. All to isolate and punish a kid for something that was never her fault. And to have no guilt at all. And the hypocrisy of saying that it was to have a normal family. Normal families do not make everyone keep secrets to hide that they are punishing one member of the family. That's just sick. Not the idiot. They're excluding you from the family because they want to feel like a normal family? Newsflash, you can still be a family with an autistic family member. Not only that, but they're clearly hiding this information from you, hiding you at your grandparents' house as a secret. You are more than a pet you can pawn at a relative's house. Their behaviour is absolutely disgusting. My mom remarried when I, 29 male, was a kid. My sister and brother were even younger. From the beginning, none of us liked Ben and didn't consider him our stepdad. It was obvious he didn't like us either. He literally divided our fridge between stuff that was ours and that was his. Separate milk, cereal, eggs, sodas, etc. Everything he paid for we weren't allowed to touch, even if it was the same brand. It was weird, but whatever, our mum bought us what we needed. Ben was super controlling too, always told us our friends weren't allowed in his house. He's the one who moved in with us. Even if my mom said it's okay, we weren't allowed to sit on his couches, so always sat on the living room floor, expected us to be silent in the house 24/7, never let us go outside, etc. I was a stubborn little brat, so I butted heads with him the most while my mom played mediator between us. Even now that we're all older, we still dislike him, only tolerate Ben for our mom when we visit. My brother in particular hates him, and sometimes they have screaming matches. Last month when we met up at their house, things got out of hand with their argument, and my brother revealed that he knows Ben was the one who got rid of my cat when he went missing. This caught me off guard, but I got on Ben's case and told him to tell me the truth. And it was true after all. My brother saw Ben with my cat in his car driving off once. Ben confessed he was tired of all the hairs and my cat roaming around everywhere, so he took my cat to a shelter an hour away. I almost lost it right there, and my mom tried to calm me down. So she had known about it too back then, but never told me because my cat had already been gone for months. But according to her, she made sure Ben knew how horrible that was. Then I took off and told them that I'm not speaking to them anymore, and she shouldn't expect me at her birthday, which was a few days ago. My heart was pounding and I cried a little in my car. It felt like I lost my cat all over again. I had spent months looking for him, and all that time he was at a shelter. Who knows if he was even adopted because he was an older cat? My brother's the only one who apologized for never telling me and for bringing it up like that. Everyone else is telling me to let it go already because Ben made that mistake years ago. They said my mom was extremely hurt that I didn't show up to her birthday, so this was very immature of me to be angry over something done a long time ago. I spoke to her and she apologized for what happened back then, but it didn't make it right for me to shut them out on an important day. So she also feels I was in the wrong for refusing to go when every birthday I've been there, and it means a lot to have all her kids there celebrating. I'm caught in the middle, still feeling emotionally raw over this whole thing, and not really sure if I was an idiot for not going. Give me a break. Ben made a mistake. Ben was a selfish idiot time and time again, and your mom enabled this man to treat her kids like crap for years. You have every right to be furious with the both of them. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I sure don't see Ben apologizing anywhere in this story. You are not the idiot at all. I also don't see where the mom attempted to get the cat back. I mean, sure, she let her husband know he did a bad thing, but oops, I guess, can't go to the shelter and get it back. I also don't see her ever standing up for her kids beyond being a mediator, which is apparently a normal and okay thing for her to do, and not question why she brought someone into her life that makes that role a necessity. Not the idiot. I'm pretty sure OP is better off without either of them. You are not wrong here. He made you sit on the floor? What? However, it sounds like someone needs to drop Ben off at a shelter. Permanently. Sorry, Mom, he ran away. So I'll start off by saying that my 24 female boyfriend 35 is an all-round great guy, and we've been together for 3 years. We have a lot of fun together, and for the most part, we're a great match. I'm still a student and I work part-time, making about $20,000 a year. My boyfriend makes more than 10 times as much as I do, but he never reminds me of this or makes me feel guilty. I pay for my own bills, car, rent, etc. My boyfriend has a few bills, but his house was bought by his family, so he doesn't pay rent, i.e. he's not on a tight budget. He thinks nothing about spending $200 on a bottle of wine or $5,000 on a suit for himself. My boyfriend was over at my apartment this month, and he walked behind me while I was browsing the internet looking at dupes for name of designer purse. I wanted to find purses that looked similar to a popular designer bag, not a knockoff. He asked what I was looking at, and I told him that I wanted to buy a purse the same shape and style of this $1,800 bag, but without all of the logos, and of course without that price tag. He said that he wanted to buy me the real designer purse, and I told him, no way, it's $1,800. He said that $1,800 isn't that much for him. He kept insisting and insisting for about 10 minutes that he wanted to give me the purse. So I said, only if you want to. I would never ask you to buy me something expensive like that. He says, I know you weren't asking me to, but it's something I want to do. He uses my computer to open the website with the purse and confirms it's the one I like, then adds it to the cart. I then go to shower and assume he purchased it. When I was looking at my computer later that night, the purse was still in the cart and he didn't buy it. Since then, he hasn't mentioned it once, and I don't want to say anything. My boyfriend has done a similar thing on 10 plus occasions though. We were out shopping while in another city and I saw a pair of boots that, at the time, were on sale. I was going to buy them for myself, but he said that he was going to get them for me and have them sent to my apartment so I didn't have to carry them home in my luggage. He never bought them, and the boots are no longer available. He will send me a link or a picture of clothes, watches, books, shoes, purses, etc. and will say, "I want to get this for you, do you like it?" If I say yes, he says, "Okay, I'm going to get it for you," but he never does. Why does he offer to get something for me but then just never does it? I have never asked him to buy something for me, not once. I am not greedy or materialistic. I just don't understand the mindset of offering to get something for someone and then not doing it. I give him gifts for every single occasion: his birthday, Valentine's Day, our anniversary, Christmas, etc. I also routinely buy him things just because, like small things that reminded me of him. However, he never does this for me. Why does my boyfriend make these empty promises to me? If he doesn't want to buy things for me, then why does he always offer? I never say, "Oh babe, I love these $2,000 pair of shoes. Will you buy them for me?" I never so much as hint at it. Are you being materialistic? No, it's not about the items themselves. It's about the shady social practice of promising something and then reneging on it. Things like that have a way of permeating into other social situations, and you're going to end up in a position where you can't trust that he's going to do what he says he's going to do. Wow, extravagant gifts for himself and penny pinch with everyone else. He sounds like a brat. Once again, we have a much older man dating a much younger woman and then treating her like crap. But he's the most wonderful man in the world. Outside of this weird gift dangling thing, what does he normally do for birthdays, Christmas, Valentine's Day, etc.? I see you noted all the things you do, but what does he give to you? Is it equitable, or are you giving more and putting more effort into giving? He didn't give me anything for the first year of our relationship, but would always happily accept the things I gave him. On our second anniversary, which he acknowledged multiple times in the weeks prior, I gave him his gift and he gave me nothing. I did my best not to cry, but I did anyway. The next mutual gift-giving holiday rolls around. He gives me a pair of sneakers that were 2 sizes too small and a pair of concert tickets to a band that he likes but I openly detest. I cry again. He says that he thought we could see the band together. Then he got frustrated when I told him to just keep the tickets. Our anniversary this year, I buy him a custom gift for one of his hobbies, and he sends me a rainbow makeup brush holder from Amazon 3 weeks later. Baby, break up with him. You value him way more than he does you. He routinely lies to you, and while you make him feel special in all the ways you can, he is just disregarding you. This is just disrespectful. So your boyfriend is trash. That much is readily apparent. This has nothing to do with the actual gifts themselves. He's just a two-faced liar and a manipulative idiot. He wants the appearance of being a good boyfriend without actually doing anything. Get out! This guy is manipulating you. This isn't about the gifts. This is about control. I struggle with mental health issues and like to keep a specific routine. One of the things I do is that every single morning at 6 a.m. I get out of bed and either go for a walk or a run. The only exception is bad weather, and if that happens, I have a workout I'll do instead. The walk or run is between 5 to 8 miles. I've done this every single day, with very minimal exceptions for the past several years. This was started as a recommendation from my therapist, and is something we both agree is a huge help for me. I'm unable to take my medications to manage my issues, so I have to do whatever else I can. I take it as seriously as I would take meds. My mother-in-law is typically nice and easy to get along with, but clingier than I can handle. If she had it her way, she would call every single week, go visit her every other week, etc. It's annoying, but whatever. Well, last week she decided to show up in the afternoon to drag us out for a quick hike. We went along with it, but because of the long drive back, she demanded to stay overnight. We let it slide. But when I got up at 6 a.m. for my walk, she tried to stop me and told me that she was making breakfast and that I needed to wait. I told her no, I'm heading out. I'll be back in an hour or so. She kept pushing, saying she was a guest and was here to visit us, so I should just spend time with her. I said that I will when I get back. We went back and forth on this a little bit until I finally snapped and said, "Listen, this is what happens when you don't call ahead to make plans to visit us. I'm not going to change up my life because you couldn't be bothered to call ahead." I left for my run and felt better. My husband was annoyed at me when I got back and said that his mum was in tears and took off back home and that I should have just stuck around. I said that I know how she operates and that, yeah, it starts out as breakfast, but then she'll want to sit around and talk and talk and talk, then she'll want to go stroll around the shops, then probably lunch and more talking. Mother-in-law vague posted about me on Facebook, saying that she wishes young people understood how important family is, and all this flowery mom, grandma Facebook posting crap. It seems my sister-in-law, husband's sister, knew about what happened, because she commented with a corny sad face and said, "They'll understand someday, Mom." Am I the idiot, really? Should I have just blown my whole routine out the water and messed up my entire day and weekend because she couldn't be bothered to call ahead? Not the idiot. If it were really about family, as your mother-in-law said in her Facebook post, your needs would be as important as hers. Clearly they're not. So it's really about your mother-in-law's narcissism. Not the idiot at all. Mother-in-law behaved like a witch. Even if your runs were not a part of your mental health care, it's rude to spring a visit on someone and expect to manipulate their time the way your mother-in-law did. And sister-in-law needs to mind her own business. You did absolutely nothing wrong. And your husband was a loser about it too. He should have backed you up and not blamed you for mother-in-law's nonsense. It sounds like he's used to appeasing his mom no matter what, just to keep the peace, and thinks you're now obligated to do the same. He's wrong. You're all idiots here. Talking once a week and visiting every other really isn't that clingy. Maybe if it's supposed to be an all-day thing every time, but barring that, her request for time doesn't seem crazy. Her "I'm a guest" thing rubs the wrong way, and showing up unannounced was kind of rude, so hence you are all wrong here. You could try to explain your mental health issues and explain why your routine is so important to you, but based on your wording, I'm going to guess you haven't or won't. She's being a bit pushy, but with no further details on toxic behavior, it really just sounds like she wants to spend time with you guys, and you're being a bit of an idiot about it. Not the idiot. I hate when people pull the "I'm a guest" nonsense. That doesn't mean you get to upend my entire life. It would have been different even if she talked about it the night before. Guests were invited. She was endured simply because making her leave would have been more trouble than it was worth. There is nothing unreasonable about sticking to one's morning routine. Breakfast could have easily waited to accommodate the hosts. Mother-in-law chose to be disruptive.